Shower stall is brought into a local courtroom as defense attorneys try to douse the murder case against Kim Cain. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kelly Dunn.
And I'm John Favoli. First on 5 today, a jury is about to begin deliberating the fate, of a former pest control worker charged with murdering a Palm Beach widow. It was a crime that sent shockwaves through the wealthy island community. Geraldine Pusillo's body found bound and strangled in the bathtub of her own home. News Channel 5's Rochelle Scholes has been covering the trial. She joins us now live from the courthouse with the latest. Rochelle?
Well, John, this has been a day of closing arguments in which prosecutors say this was a case of a burglary gone bad, a crime committed by a not-so-smart criminal who tried to cover his tracks but failed. But the defense says it's not that simple and that Kim Cain is not the killer. The defense brought in a reconstructed shower stall similar to the one in which 71-year-old Geraldine Pusillo was found murdered. Standing in front of it, they tried to poke holes in the state's case against their client, Kim Cain.
Strangle her in a small shower and stroll and cheat around and not leave a hair. Was he in a surgical suit?
There was little physical evidence linking Cain to the crime. Prosecutors say Cain tried to pawn a gold bracelet they say was stolen from the home. And he left behind a palm print, a print prosecutors argue leaves no doubt as to who killed the elderly woman as she fought for her life.
And it was no contest. She was a 71-year-old grandmother, and he was a huge man compared to her. Now, during the time that he was killing her in the shower stall or maneuvering around her body, he put his hand down on the shower ledge next to her body and left his invisible signature. He left his latent print.
But the defense argues the print was left in the shower months earlier when Cain was in the home to perform a termite inspection. And other evidence collected from the crime scene, hair, blood, and fingerprints, did not match Cain's.
Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot convict Kim Cain on speculation, belief, or conjecture. Wouldas, shouldas, or couldas, ifs and what ifs and possibilities. To do so would be to violate every concept of fairness.
But prosecutors say the only person denied fairness was the victim, and Cain should pay for taking her life. Now, John, as you mentioned, jury deliberations are set to get underway, but first the judge must charge the jury and read them a complex set of instructions. That process could take up to an hour. That would mean that the jury would not begin its deliberations until about 6 o'clock tonight. They are going to be sequestered. If they don't reach a verdict this evening, they will go to a hotel. Now, Cain could face death in the electric chair if convicted as charged of first-degree murder. Of course, there could be an acquittal, or jurors could come back with a lesser included offense. We'll keep you up to date on this ongoing case. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Rochelle. We'll check back with you later. Kelly.
From now on, it will take a little longer to reach the top of the Empire State Building. The observation deck has reopened following Sunday's shooting there, but now visitors have to go through metal detectors and a baggage scanner to reach the 86th floor. One tourist died Sunday and 6 others were hurt when Ali Hassan Abu Kamal, a Palestinian man, opened fire. Investigators say a note found in his pocket expressed anger over U.S. ties to Israel. But his family says he was upset over financial problems.
A guard is now watching the tomb of the 16th President of the United States. The tomb of Abraham Lincoln in Illinois was badly vandalized over the weekend. Vandals sprayed swastikas and obscenities on the site. Marking the 3rd time in the past decade the site has been defaced. So now a security guard is posted there 24 hours a day. Staffers say they're taking no chances.
America's colleges and universities are not getting passing grades when it comes to safety on campus. A government study found a quarter of all campuses reported violent crimes between 1993 and 1995. It also found burglaries outnumber car thefts 3 to 1. The study was required by the 1990 Right to Know and Campus Security Act.
The mission of my agency is to collect, analyze, and report on the condition of education in the United States and in other countries. The results of this survey provide the first national estimates on campus crime and security. This is the first national picture of campus crime in the United States.
The study finds there are more violent crimes and property damage at smaller colleges and universities than at big ones.
A Vermont jury is deciding whether a state trooper should be disciplined for roughing up a female prisoner. 2 officers were caught on videotape last year shoving the woman against a wall. One of the troopers faces disciplinary charges for conduct unbecoming an officer. He contends his conduct was not inappropriate. The department wants to dock both officers 2 weeks' pay and transfer them. The woman settled her lawsuit out of court last year.
Harsh action could be facing repeat sexual offenders. This afternoon in Tallahassee, a legislative committee approved a bill advocating castration. Although the idea has been around before, Mike Vasalinda says this time it has momentum.
Renee Bray is pounding the Capitol hallways supporting chemical castration legislation.
This is my daughter Ashley, who was the one that was offended. This is the pedophile.
15-year-old Ashley was assaulted 4 years ago. As part of a plea bargain, the assailant did 617 days in jail and promised to stay away from young girls. He's been released.
Only to be found 3 weeks later working at a Discovery Zone, working as a volunteer in a high school, and answering private child care ads.
2 radio show hosts were so incensed by Renee's story that they've been helping her get her message out. There are over 25,000 signatures here, most of them from Central Florida, but some from as far away as Key West and Jacksonville. They were gathered in just 10 days. Chemical castration has been discussed by lawmakers here before, but it's gone nowhere. But thanks to Renee, this year may be different. The idea has the support of powerful Republicans who now run the legislature.
What has worked is locking them up, and what will work is going to the source, the root cause of problems such as this, cutting problems off at the source.
Civil libertarians have called castration cruel and unusual punishment. Renee Bray doesn't see it that way.
I don't see this as being a punishment. I see it as being a preventive measure. How many victims are too many? I tell you how many, and that's 1.
But even under the legislation, there could be 2 victims before an assailant would be forced to undergo castration. In Tallahassee, Mike Vasalinda, News Channel 5.
California and Georgia recently adopted similar legislation, but it's too soon to tell if it's cutting the rate of recidivism.
The Mouse House is expanding. The latest venture from the Walt Disney Company is called Club Disney, an interactive playground for kids. The first such center just opened for business outside Los Angeles. For $8, children can climb through a maze of tunnels, animate their own cartoon, enter the mouse pad, and play a variety of computer games.
Disney has been designed as a multi-unit business, and our plans are to roll it out in communities around the country. And frankly, since young children and their desires and development needs are not that different, probably someday internationally.
If the concept sounds familiar, that's because it's similar to the Discovery Zone, which grew too fast and ran into financial problems, eventually bankruptcy. Analysts expect Disney to avoid those mistakes.
There's a battle brewing in Seattle today over a planned addition to elementary school libraries. A special grant is funding a new series of books that include gay and lesbian relationships. The school books are part of a project called Creating Safe Schools for Sexual Minorities.
Oh, okay, I understand what that family's about. It doesn't mean that you have to accept that family. It doesn't mean that you have to promote that family, but at least that puts a context in there for the children.
Advocates say the books are not being used to promote any specific lifestyle, but some question whether or not they're appropriate for younger students. There are new concerns today about the whale that played the famous role of Free Willy. Trainers at the Oregon Aquarium are puzzled, saying the mammal has turned aggressive. Kiko repeatedly rammed the window where visitors gather to view underwater life, so finally the display was shut down. Right now, Kiko is calm, but that's because trainers are feeding him an extra 30 pounds of fish, hoping that will quiet him. Incidentally, officials are not worried that the display windows will break. They're more concerned for Keiko's safety. He's already split his lip in one of the incidents.
The latest thing in the world of golf may be a putter that's designed with a crystal inside. The crystal is set in a special fitting, then in aluminum bronze. The man who designed it is an architect, also an avid golfer who finally put his ideas down on paper. So far, the new club is still being manufactured, but at $400 a piece. It's targeting the upscale golfers only. Of course, it's only good if it helps you sink those difficult putts.
Today, Christie's auction house in London is showcasing 80 gorgeous ball gowns and cocktail dresses. And these may actually make you feel like a princess. They're dresses that belong to Princess Diana. They're about to hit the auction block, where experts think they will fetch more than $1.6 million for charity. But before the big sale in June, they're being put on display in London and in New York.
Boy, they look pretty nice.
Very nice. She has quite a closet.
Can you imagine?
That died. No, I can't.
That's why she's a princess.
That's right.
The rush hour promises to be busy out there, so you may need some added patience.
Victoria Lauderdale is keeping track now for us of the delays. Hi, Victoria.
Hi, good afternoon. We right now have a disabled truck partially blocking a right lane, 95 southbound at the Australian Avenue flyover. And of course, that's adding to already heavy rush hour delays, 95 southbound from Okeechobee to Forest Hill, and out on the Turnpike, an injury collision southbound approaching Okeechobee. I'm Victoria Lauderdale, News Channel 5.
Thanks, Victoria. You may soon see new ads aimed at young people, and these will carry an important message.
But is it enough to steer them away from drugs? Up next, see why some local students are backing another program that brings the reality of police work right into their classrooms.
All these people are learning more about their medications and how they can stay safe. I'm Denise Jakehouse. I'll have the story for you coming up in Live on 5 Health.
Closed captioning of News Channel 5 is brought to you by Broward Hurricane Panel.
Ford doesn't have it. Toyota doesn't have it. If you want a compact truck with 3 doors, you'll only find it here. Introducing the 1997 Special Edition S10 LS3. Air, AM/FM cassette, fold-down rear seat. Equipped right, priced right. Get $1,000 cash back on any S10 in stock, built like a rock. Exclusively at Fronrath, Steve Moore, Roger Dean, or Ed Morse. S10 LS3.
The door is ajar. The door is ajar. Fasten your seatbelt. Oil level is low.
Thank you.
Fasten your seatbelt.
Buy a $5 or more Florida Lotto ticket, and you could win one of 50 97 Ford Mustang GT convertibles.
Don't even think about it. You're not going to replace me that easily, Dave.
So play Lottomobile for the...
Dave.
The mega deal is still hot. Get any pizza for just $9.99. That's any pizza, any size, any number of toppings, just $9.99. And the second pizza is only $5.99. It's the mega deal. Any Domino's pizza, any size, any number of toppings, delivered hot and fresh, including classic hand-tossed, crunchy thin crust, and ultimate deep dish, just $9.99. And for $5.99, get another one. So call Domino's and get the $9.99 mega deal.
For hot and wild, call Domino's.
Why is Del.R.E. Lincoln Mercury the #1 Lincoln Mercury dealer in South Florida? Is it because customers are free to shop in a relaxed, elegant atmosphere? Perhaps it's because Del.R.E. Lincoln Mercury has been family-owned and operated for 39 years and has built a reputation for quality service. See our selection of Lincoln Town Cars, traditional luxury that's rated by Consumers Digest as the best driving car in the world. Del.R.E. Lincoln Mercury on Federal Highway just south of Linton Boulevard.
Today, President Clinton says, quote, "The Lincoln bedroom was never sold." That word comes in response to reports that more than 900 people have spent the night in the White House during his administration, and many of them are major financial supporters. Today, the president instead put the spotlight on his new 5-part anti-drug strategy. He says the top priority is our children. The $16 billion request calls for a national media campaign that targets young people and their parents. It also designates money for drug courts and the costs of drug testing those arrested.
Despite the president's big push to keep kids away from drugs, the Education Department is slamming some school anti-drug groups, including the D.A.R.E. program. In today's Focus 5 report, Roxanne Stein checks out local D.A.R.E. classes, and she finds students, educators, and a good deal of success.
It's not a typical 6th grade class.
You go to bed early the night before, you get a good night's sleep.
Not only is the subject matter unusual for 6th grade, seldom do you see teachers with guns. But this is a D.A.R.E. class. The teacher, West Palm Beach police officer Stephanie Harmon. She's taught D.A.R.E., drug abuse resistance education, for 3.5 years.
It bridges the gap between the education system, the police department, and our children.
But a federal study questions the effectiveness of D.A.R.E., a program taught to hundreds of Palm Beach County 6th graders every year. The students say it works.
It teaches us about self-confidence.
Well, they teach us to learn conflict resolution, and you tell you not to fight with other people.
Tell you attack the problem, not the person.
And often the officers involved in the D.A.R.E program find that their work extends from beyond the classroom into the home environment.
So there are a lot of instances where kids have opened up to us and shared information, sometimes incriminating information, about their parents or their household.
Study and be prepared.
Okay, you can study for the test and be prepared. Right, that takes the edge off.
The kids who are growing up, seeing reality on the streets, experiencing the difficulties of youth, say this about questions that D.A.R.E isn't effective.
I would ask them if they wanted the future of America to be on drugs.
For them, money well spent. Roxanne Stein, News Channel 5.
Some breaking news at this hour as the verdict is in the murder trial of John DuPont. The chemical heir is charged with murdering wrestler David Schultz on his estate in Pennsylvania. Prosecutors had claimed DuPont killed Schultz out of anger and jealousy, but the defense maintained DuPont was insane. DuPont today was found guilty of third-degree murder. We'll have more on this coming up later on News Channel 5. It is shaping up to be a busy Tuesday, news-wise, and Jim Sackett is here now with a look ahead for us. Hi, Jim.
Hello, Kelly. Good afternoon, everybody. Coming up on News Channel 5 at 5:30, a fire breaks out in a local mobile home. Efforts to put out that fire are hampered, though, when rescue workers hit a dead end with a broken water hydrant. We'll show you what happened. And it's a critical time for this stranded dolphin. We'll show you how marine experts are working round the clock to save its life. It's coming up on News Channel 5, beginning at 5:30. Kelly, John?
All right, thanks very much, Jim. Kind of a mixed day in the weather department. Could be better, especially this morning, but it could be worse. So which way will it go for tomorrow? We'll check in with Kent next and find out.
And after that, we'll show you some proof that some people really do enjoy being parched over peppers. This one is one hot contest.
Instead of always being one thing or the other, can something be one thing and another?
The Chrysler Town & Country LXI, Car and Driver's 10 Best, and Automobile Magazine All-Star, and now J.D. Power & Associates' most appealing minivan, the Chrysler Town & Country. It's nothing short of everything. What's new in your world?
See your local Chrysler and Plymouth dealer today.
Save 30% on ladies' casual dresses. Save 25% on ladies' swimwear. Save 25% on men's Dockers golf. Save 25% on children's swimwear. Believe it or not, Florida does have a dress code. It's just a really casual one. The Bell's Florida Casual Sale. You're gonna need these things sooner or later, so you might as well save some money on them while you can. Bell's Florida Casual Sale. Simply Florida.
Still to come, your exclusive first warning forecast.
Dodge Stratus, #1 in power versus Accord. #1 in standard equipment versus Altima. #1 in resale versus Contour. And now Dodge Stratus announces one more one, the Dodge #1 lease sale. For just $199 a month, you can lease a new Dodge Stratus, just named one of Car and Driver's 10 best cars for the second straight year. The Dodge #1 lease sale on #1 Dodge cars and trucks. This sale ends February 28th.
Some bad news valets are stealing from your car, and worse, we've got actual videotape. It's extra undercover, only on the next Extra.
Tuesday at 7
on News Channel 5.
The legend lives on. The all-new 97 Buick Park Avenue has arrived at Schumacher. Few cars have a finer heritage of luxury and quality, and the new Park Avenue and new Park Avenue Ultra are more impressive than ever. They're bigger, more comfortable, more responsive, even more of a joy to own. Stop by and see for yourself today at Schumacher Buick. Isn't it time you join the Schumacher family?
Kent Earhart has earned the seal of approval of the American Meteorological Society.
Well, we said it going in, sort of a mixed day out there, huh?
Yes,
We've had a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of everything else.
Some heavy rain in parts of Palm Beach County earlier this morning. Then that moved into Martin County. We had some heavy stuff around Vero Beach at times, so they were very hit and miss and spotty. And as we described yesterday, you'd be driving through it and then out of it and then back into it again.
That's the way it went.
And there's still some out there at this hour. We'll look at a replay with the dual Doppler to show you where the rain showers are moving around. I suspect we may have had some pretty heavy stuff in central Florida. It looks like we actually have some outflow pushing some thunderstorms around now through parts of Martin County. As you look at this shower roll through central Martin County that came out of St. Lucie and now down into western portions of Jupiter, into the Jupiter Farms area. And as I mentioned earlier this morning, as many of you know, some very heavy rain in the West Palm Beach area and out into Wellington and Royal Palm Beach. And up in the Treasure Coast, we've had some showers too. In fact, let's zoom in now on Palm Beach County. Here's the heavier rain. It's moderate to heavy. Right along the B line and near Jupiter Farms. Also around the Belglade, South Bay area, we're picking up some lighter rain. Hobe Sound picking up some light to moderate rain too, all along eastern portions of Martin County. And boy, we had some heavy stuff through Port St. Lucie, Jensen Beach, and down through Stewart and Palm City a little bit earlier. And things are fairly quiet now in Indian River and St. Lucie counties. Outside from our high 5 south position, we can see the mostly cloudy skies, so that worked out in the forecast. 77 right now, east winds at 8 miles per hour, the relative humidity at 66%, a rising barometer. About 81, the expected high again tomorrow, partly sunny, breezy and warm. Note that I don't mention any rain, but I did draw a shower in here. I think the rain chance subsides tomorrow, diminishes if you will, and continues to diminish into the latter part of the week, but we're still going to have a couple of isolated showers around tomorrow, as that's kind of our transition day. The high today was 79, the low 70. Our air quality index at 25, which is in the good range, and the pollen count today was moderate. Let's see what we have around the state at this hour. It's chilly up north. Look at that. 54 at Jacksonville, 49 at Tallahassee, 54 in Pensacola, 77 in Tampa, 73 at Vero Beach, 77 now in West Palm, 78 at Miami, 79 in Key West, and another warm day in Fort Myers. We hit a record over there yesterday, and it's 86 at this hour. As that air moves across the peninsula and gets heated, by the time it reaches the west coast on these easterly winds, it can be very warm. We still have a front in the area. It's difficult to say exactly where it is, but I'll paint it in here. That's approximated. That front is going to move off to the north and not be a weather maker for us. Then a big old ridge of high pressure builds in the upper levels of the atmosphere and brings us some fine weather through the latter part of this week. It looks like mostly dry, mostly sunny weather, and still a little bit on the breezy side. A lot of rain in the Gulf Coast. Remember yesterday the radar looked almost exactly like this. It's a repeat performance today, this developing storm system that's moving into western Texas. But unlike the previous two storms that rolled across to our north and dragged a front through here, this one looks like it's going to make a beeline for the Great Lakes, and the front, if it does get here, wouldn't be until perhaps Sunday or Monday of next week. But right now the weekend is shaping up quite nicely. I think we're in pretty good shape. Next high tide, listen to me. The yellow flags were up at Delray Beach. That's a caution flag. Blue flag is a man-of-war flag. Some rip currents. Again, the man-of-war, 2 to 4 foot surf. Still pretty rough, though. All right, for tonight, partly cloudy, breezy and mild with isolated showers and lows near 70. The winds out of the east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. There is a small craft exercise caution. Partly sunny, breezy and warm tomorrow. I think we'll see more sunshine than we did today. The high in the low 80s, southeast winds at 15 miles per hour. I was out with the kids for a while today, and the sun was shining at times. It was peeking through occasionally.
Don't get in the water at the beach, though. Those man-of-war are deadly.
They can be.
They're
well,
rough.
I don't want to say deadly, but they can sting you pretty good.
That's
tough,
right.
tough customers. Yeah. Many of your friends and neighbors are packing up their prescriptions. They're bringing them to the experts to learn more about the pitfalls of mixing medication.
And later, when they needed it most, firefighters couldn't get water out of local hydrants. We'll show you why at 5:30.
If you wait, it's too late. You never know what is going to happen in your life.
No one wants to burden their families with difficult choices. That's why people concerned about their future choose luxury life care living at Harbor's Edge in Delray Beach.
We decided to come to Harbor's Edge for many reasons, of course. We were able to make our own decision for the balance of our lives instead of placing the burden on either of our children.
Find out more about life care retirement at Harbor's Edge. Call 1-800-232-1358.
When cars pull up to a stop sign, do they check each other out? Do they admire the way the other cars move? Wonder what's under the hood? Do they fantasize about the aurora, long for its dual overhead canopy? Or do they just think, yeah?
It's time to declare war against mildew. In Introducing professional strength Tilex Mildew Stain Remover. More powerful than any other mildew stain remover, it blasts away horrendous mildew stains in less than 30 seconds. Get the most powerful mildew stain remover ever made. New professional strength Tilex.
Too bad about that tough headache, hon. I guess we're staying home.
Headache's gone. Took some Tylenol. Extra strength.
It's gone? All gone?
Yeah. You're gonna love the ballet, sweetie.
Bring the Tylenol.
Nothing takes you out of the action faster than a diarrhea medicine that can let you down. But you can count on Imodium AD to stop diarrhea, often in one dose. Take Imodium AD, one dose relief you can count on.
Who's to blame for the dangerous crossings? An I-Team exclusive tonight at 6 on News Channel 5. Injustice, corruption, fraud. If you're aware of any of these, News Channel 5's I-Team wants to know. Call 561-653-5708.
Free information is available to you about the drugs that you take. The Senior Activities Festival at the South Florida Fairgrounds is featuring a checkup for your medicine, and I found out that many people are concerned about mixing medicines and their side effects. These are all the medicines that Christina Campbell takes every day, one for diabetes, another for high blood pressure. She's worried because sometimes she feels dizzy.
I am wondering which one of the medication would cause dizziness.
And you're feeling dizzy?
Dizzy and bad feelings.
John Williams is one of the pharmacy interns from Nova University who's checking Campbell's medicine list to see if there are any troubles. He's doing the same thing for everyone he sees at this Check Up Your Medicines at the Senior Activities Festival.
We're looking to see whether it's a single medication or a combination of medications.
Fred Fiore says he's walking away with good information.
I learned a lot about my medication because I had a heart attack in 1991.
But mixing medicines isn't the only problem that these pharmacists are finding here. Sometimes people are not following the directions on their medicine's label, and that can create problems as well. Pharmacist Don Barron says some people are taking the same medicines prescribed by different doctors.
We're finding that there is some duplication of the medications that they are taking. Perhaps some of them are seeing more than one doctor.
In fact, drug difficulties of all types account for a lot of medical costs. One study found that 28% of all hospital admissions and 19% of all emergency room visits can be linked to drug troubles. Ray Adams, who coordinated this event, says these drug checks can potentially save lots of time, money, and lives.
I've asked things like, I'm taking high blood pressure medication. How does that affect me? I feel a little dizzy.
Now, the checkup for your medicines continues tomorrow at the Senior Activities Festival at the South Florida Fairground. Researchers say if you smoke, you're overweight, and you have trouble keeping your blood pressure under control, you may be putting yourself in line for a blood clot in your lungs. These pulmonary embolisms, as they're called, kills thousands of people every year. This study was done on women and found that those with all of those risk factors were 3 times more likely to suffer a blood clot in the lungs. A recent study finds that smoking during pregnancy increases the risk of your child having attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Children with ADHD have a short attention span and are easily distracted. The American Journal of Psychiatry published the study saying 3 times as many people with ADHD were exposed to maternal smoking during pregnancy. A lot of the people getting their drugs checked out at the fair said that these are the type of things they'd like to talk to their doctor about, but they just feel like their doctor is so busy that they really have no place to turn. So there's a lot of information that you can learn when you're out there.
That's right. It's good that it's out there.
Yeah,
and it continues tomorrow.
Continues
at
tomorrow.
The fairgrounds. All right.
Thanks, Denise. Middle school students in Utah are showing their school janitor the true meaning of the phrase melting pot. The youngsters raised money to fly the man's wife to the U.S. from Vietnam. Vo Lam was educated in the U.S. and got a job at the school, but his wife had been unable to join him due to governmental restrictions. Now, when the students learned of the story, they decided to lend a hand. Now she has a plane ticket, and she's been cleared to enter the U.S. Now she only needs her own government to give her the okay.
We've all heard that some like it hot, and now we're seeing proof that some really like it burning hot. Welcome to the 19th annual Jalapeno Eating Contest, a festival that is obviously not for the faint of heart or the timid tummy. These brave souls are testing their taste buds to see how they handle the burn of the peppers. The winner this time, a three-time champ who says he can sweat it out with the best of them. Probably doesn't hold a candle to Jim Sackett, the man with an iron stomach. That's it for Live on 5. Now here he is with what's coming up on News Channel 5 at 5:30.
Efforts to save a burning mobile home run dry. Firefighters find themselves in desperate need of water. We have a live report on what went wrong. The future of our local public broadcasting station remains unclear as state lawmakers put a new twist on merger talks. Plus, the latest on efforts in South Florida to save a beach dolphin. On News Channel 5 at 5:30, and it begins right now.
You're watching News Channel 5, WPTV, West Palm Beach, Boca Raton, Vero Beach. This is News Channel 5 at 5:30.
A mobile home goes up in flames as firefighters' efforts to put out the blaze hit a major dry spot. Good evening, everybody. I'm Jim Sackett.
And I'm Kelly Dunn. Our top story at 5:30, a big scare for residents of a mobile home park in suburban Riviera Beach, where firefighters ran into water woes this morning. They rushed to the scene hoping to save a burning trailer home, but could not get the fire hydrants to work. News Channel 5's Pat Nolan is live now at the Palm Lakes Estates Mobile Home Park with more. Pat?
Kelly, there's not much left here. In fact, these are the only clues investigators had to work with to solve two mysteries here. Now, one of them they think they've figured out that's the cause of the fire. They believe the owner of the mobile home was smoking a pipe, threw out some tobacco in a garbage can, and that's all that happened here. But the other mystery remains unsolved. The big question, where's the water? We arrived to find firefighters ripping into the smoldering home so they could pump in more water. But as this exclusive home video shows you, when the fire first broke out, there wasn't much water to be found. Why? Because firefighters couldn't budge the top of this, the nearest hydrant, which was apparently rusted shut.
That fire plug was frozen, and they had two of their biggest men on there and couldn't open it.
So the crew that first arrived, which was from Palm Beach Gardens, had to call in another tanker from a county station. Firefighters say the water delay did not have a serious impact on the outcome. And although the mobile home owner and his stepdaughter seen here are glad no one was home at the time, they can't help but wonder if a little more water a little sooner would have salvaged something.
He just lost his wife, so my mother, last month. So all our mementos are in there.
As for the fire hydrant that doesn't work, investigators say the mobile home park's other three hydrants are in the same shape. Who's responsible?
Well, I don't know where responsibility lays for the hydrant not being operable, but typically the water system where the water is received from, in this case it would be the city of Riviera Beach, maintains those hydrants.
Now, we just spoke with the director of utilities for Riviera Beach, and he tells us that even though the city pumps water into here, they are not responsible for maintaining the hydrants. He says that is the responsibility of the owner of this property. Meanwhile, property managers tell us they thought the city was taking care of this, so you can kind of figure out how this happened. Each was thinking the other was taking care of something that hasn't been taken care of for some time, and unfortunately, firefighters and people who live here found out the hard way today. Kelly?
Oh, they certainly did, and that poor gentleman. Thanks very much. Pat Nolan live tonight in Riviera Beach. Jim?
A rough start to the day for motorists on I-95. Rain-slick roads contributing to several traffic tie-ups. In Palm Beach Gardens, traffic came to a crawl for about an hour this morning after a pickup truck flipped over. The truck was then hit by an 18-wheeler. The driver of the pickup was taken to St. Mary's Hospital, where he's listed in serious condition. The driver of the semi wasn't hurt. Another driver in Boca Raton is injured after a rollover on Lyons Road near Glades Road. His injuries are not considered life-threatening. State officials are giving Palm Beach County's only public broadcasting station more time to program its future. This time, D.A.R.E University won't be the only player trying to keep WXEL Channel 42 afloat. News Channel 5's Jennifer Leslie reports a group of community colleges is also getting in on the deal.
For the first time, the State Board of Education is weighing in on WXEL's future. Cabinet members say they're disappointed that the public television station kept quiet about its merger talks with D.A.R.E University.
Why is there such secrecy? How come we don't know about it? How come the first day we find out about it is when it has already happened?
Last month, the station announced plans to join forces with D.A.R.E University in Miami Shores. Immediately, the state attorney general's office began looking into the deal, since millions of public dollars have been spent on the station. University officials say their talks with the station were above board.
There has not been anything illegal. It was done in good faith. It was something that we wanted to do to serve the community, to further our mission, and I really believe that right usually wins out.
WXEL laid out its financial troubles for the Board of Education. Last year, the station lost money, and without help, the road ahead is a shaky one.
Is it going to take $6 to $10 million to upgrade the technology of the station to get it where it could be competitive?
Yes, sir. It would take millions more input for this station to be competitive and to remain a community-based station.
Now, the State Board of Regents is stepping forward with a new plan to save the station, a consortium of community colleges and private universities, including D.A.R.E, that could keep the station on the air. State officials are giving the parties 2 weeks to work it out. That consortium would include Palm Beach Community College, Florida Atlantic University, and D.A.R.E University. Those groups will report back to the State Board of Education on March 11th. It will then be up to the board and the governor to ratify any deal. Kelly?
All right, Jennifer Leslie in the newsroom tonight. Thank you.
Tonight, marine experts continue to try to save a stranded bottlenose dolphin. The dolphin beached itself late Sunday afternoon in North Miami Beach. It's now in guarded to critical condition. Volunteers with Florida International University and the Miami Seaquarium are working around the clock to try to nurse the dolphin back to health. The dolphin is being kept in a temporary holding pool at FIU's Marine Lab.
Hope there's no bottlenecks out on the roads tonight.
Yeah, really. It was a rough morning commute, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Let's check in with Victoria Lauderdale to see how the evening rush is going tonight. Victoria?
It certainly was rough this morning, and it's not looking all that great this afternoon, unfortunately, either, especially out on the Turnpike. An accident in southbound approaching Okeechobee, and on the Turnpike again northbound at the Lantana Toll Plaza. Taking a look at 95, those heavy rush hour delays, they continue 95 southbound from Palm Beach Lakes to Southern. I'm Victoria Lauderdale, News Channel 5.
Victoria, thank you. Florida may be a golfer's paradise.
But in one local community, some residents will now have to pay more in order to take to the greens. We'll tell you about a move that has got some golfers teed off.
And this magnet school is definitely making the grade as it receives a major honor. We have the story next in your neighborhood news.
There's still some rain on the roadways out there this evening. You'll want to get a Doppler update coming up.
Closed captioning of News Channel 5 is brought to you by Broward Hurricane Panel.
Here's a special investment opportunity you should take stock in. For a limited time, you can lease a Lincoln Town Car for just $4.99 a month with $9.99 down. Only $4.99 a month on a 24-month lease for the roomiest luxury sedan of them all. And current lessees get an additional $500 savings, which not only makes Town Car the ultimate expression of luxury, it makes sound financial sense as well. But the market closes March 3rd, so see your Lincoln dealer today.
Why should you take Amtrak Auto Train to the Northeast? Reason 19, there's only one on-ramp to look for. Reason 27, we travel with an expert chef. Reason 41, you'll only get lost in conversation. Reason 65, 900 miles of tranquility. Reason 78, wake up the next morning in the Northeast instead of smack dab in the middle of Reason 95. Amtrak Auto Train. Call your travel agent or 1-800-USA-RAIL.
NBC Tuesdays, all new. On Mad About You, Jamie needs baby bed rest, and she's driving Paul crazy. And Murray's been kidnapped.
Hey there, ho there, hippie how how.
Then the Something So Right gang goes on the Lisa Show.
She wants the dirt, the dish, the dope.
You're the dope.
Then one of the funniest Frasers ever. It's stuck. Take it easy. Don't make any noise.
I have 6 dinner guests arriving at exactly... Ow!
And on Caroline, a girl's weekend without men.
Yeah, right.
All new NBC Tuesday.
Getting your money's worth has never gone out of style. Example, Chevy Cavalier. Priced quite a bit less than Ford Escort. And Cavalier has more horsepower. Power steering. An engine that cruises 100,000 miles between tune-ups. Not to mention all these other cool features. Hey, it's all you need. I'd say the price of our competition is a little inflated. Chevy Cavalier, now with 3.9 financing for up to 60 months. Only at Ed Morse, Fron Rath, Steve Moore, or Roger Dean.
Some local golfers are getting teed off after learning they'll have to pay a little bit more before teeing off.
That'll catch your attention. Our neighborhood news begins tonight in Fort Pierce, where seasonal residents who play here at Fairwinds Golf Course will now have to show a driver's license with a local address to get a discount on greens fees. Showing tax receipts will no longer be accepted. Part-time residents who have homes in St. Lucie County are angry over the move because their driver's licenses are from other states. County-run Fairwinds Golf Course says the new plan will take some traffic off the course.
Drivers on the turnpike may soon be able to take advantage of a new interchange in West Palm Beach. Tonight, the Department of Transportation will hold a public hearing to discuss the plans for the $15 million project on Southern Boulevard and State Road 80. If you would like to attend the meeting, it begins in about 20 minutes at 6 o'clock at the Sheraton Hotel on Clearwater Park Road. That's in West Palm Beach, and you need to go to Regency D Room.
As we heard a little earlier in News Channel 5, the 13th Annual Seniors Activities Festival is underway at the South Florida Fairgrounds. The event gives residents in their golden years an opportunity to check out a variety of products and services. There's free cholesterol screening, safety seminars with self-defense demonstrations, music, food, and more. The Seniors Activities Festival runs through tomorrow. The admission is $2.
A big honor for a Palm Beach County magnet school. Roosevelt Magnet School is receiving the National Award as a School of Distinction. The award is handed out by the Magnet Schools of America, and schools all over the United States are considered. For Roosevelt, it's a double honor, not only to receive the national recognition for its math, science, and technology programs, but it's also the first magnet school in Palm Beach County and the state to get the national award.
If there's news coming up in your neighborhood, take a few seconds out of your very busy day and drop us a line in care of WPTV, Post Office Box 510, Palm Beach 33480. Coming up in sports, who's on third? Anthony joins us live from the Marlins training camp with details on a swinging change in the lineup.
And taking a look out on High Five tonight, for some of us caught in those showers earlier today, it's turning out to be a drier evening. But what about tomorrow? Kent Earhart joins us next with your first warning forecast.
And coming up at 6 o'clock, a News Channel 5 exclusive. Find out about an investigation launched into the campaign finances of a former candidate for Palm Beach County State Attorney. That's tonight, only at 6.
Introducing the 97 Sportage from Kia. A 4x4 at a truly liberating price.
Lease a 97 Sportage for $247 a month.
Some bad news, valets are stealing from your car, and worse, we've got actual videotape. It's extra undercover, only on the next Extra.
Tuesday at 7
on News Channel 5.
Spaghetti's made of noodles. That was made of pasta.
I turn around and there's like a whole kindergarten class looking up at me.
I told him, if you want to know about spaghetti, let's go talk to a spaghetti person.
I told him that Publix pasta is 100% germ weed semolina.
Baby otters need swimming lessons.
Help me out here, please.
Know where my teeth went?
Yeah, I was a little foggy about moonbeams.
He never told us about spaghetti.
Totally clueless about sea otters.
I was crushed.
They were impressed.
In all great meals, the main ingredient is Publix.
Still to come, your exclusive first warning forecast. Tonight's weather is brought to you by your local Chrysler and Plymouth dealer.
For a limited time only at your Chrysler dealer. You can lease the Chrysler Sebring convertible for just $289 a month, or get $1,000 cash back on the Chrysler Sebring Coupe, or get 1.9% financing. For a limited time only at your Chrysler dealer. What's new in your world?
See your local Chrysler and Plymouth dealer today.
Kent Earhart has earned the seal of approval of the American Meteorological Society.
Heavy rain in Vero Beach earlier this morning. Then we had some also in the West Palm Beach area, and we also had some in the Stewart and Jensen Beach and Hobe Sound area. So everybody's had their share, just about everybody's had their share of some pretty good rainfall. Most of it's been along the coast. And you know what? The fact that we're seeing some of this stuff moving off toward the southeast now may be an indication, in fact I think it is, of this upper level ridge that's building that is going to deliver drier air throughout all the levels of the atmosphere, and that means better weather for us the latter part of the week, even though it hasn't been all that bad yesterday and today. Here's Palm Beach County at this hour. Way down here off of US 27 we have a shower. We have some light rain in Jupiter Farms up into southeastern portions of Martin County. Around Hobe Sound, still some light rain moving onshore there. Quiet in Indian River, Okeechobee, and St. Lucie counties now. But again, we've all had our share of little bursts of rainfall today. Outside Martin County right now, mostly cloudy skies from our high 5 north position atop Martin Memorial Medical Center. 77 degrees, east winds at 8 miles per hour. The relative humidity is 66%, and our barometer's at 30.10 inches of mercury. It's rising right now. Tomorrow should hit about 81 under partly sunny skies. A breezy, warm day, maybe an isolated shower, but less rain expected tomorrow than we saw today, and even less on Thursday. Here's our exclusive look at rain, snow, and ice. Not much happening in the northeast. One little burst of snowfall that's rolling across New York State at this hour as it moves off the lake here. You can also see the showers that are spread throughout the Southland as a result of this frontal system and a developing low-pressure system out here in Texas. But again, this one expected to make a beeline for the Great Lakes as opposed to rolling across the Gulf and bringing us much rain. So we are looking at some snow showers in parts of northern Texas and New Mexico and Arizona and up into western Montana and the northern Rockies too. 34 now in Billings. 62 degrees in Los Angeles, 43 at Denver and Wichita, 49 in St. Louis. It's just above the freezing mark in Chicago, 33 degrees there, and in New York City, 44 in Washington now, and 59 in Atlanta. Here's the satellite picture with the fronts drawn on it, so we still have what's left of this front near us, and here's the developing storm. And again, I'm expecting this one to slide off toward the northeast, and that will leave us under this ridge of high pressure, which means warm weather. 80s tomorrow, 20s in the northern plains. Here's some specific forecasts for some cities tomorrow from coast to coast. The 5-day outlook, and it's one I think you will enjoy.
Got a smile on your face like that.
Softball players alike.
All right, and people that still have the Christmas lights up. To the newsroom now, where Laurel Sarro joins us with a look at what's still ahead for News Channel 5. Laurel?
Hi, Jim. Hello, everyone. Coming up next on News Channel 5 at 6 o'clock, we'll bring you an exclusive story about a criminal investigation launched into the campaign finances of former state attorney's candidate Phil Butler. Also tonight at 6 o'clock, drivers who should know better are not stopping at railroad crossings. This is an I-Team report you won't want to miss at 6 o'clock. And if you think spring breakers are mostly out-of-control college kids, we have a story which will certainly change your mind. So sit tight and join us for these stories and so much more still to come on News Channel 5 only at 6. Back to Jim now in the studio.
Laurel, thank you. In business news tonight, America Online making headlines again, this time with a new set of troubles. Buyers of its common stock are filing a class action lawsuit against the company. The suit accuses AOL of misrepresentation, insider trading, and false financial statements. America Online spokespersons deny the charges. The computer internet company has already come under fire from its customers over access problems.
On Wall Street, stocks drifted in and out of negative territory for most of the session before finally sprinting higher in the final hour. Here's how the board looked today at the close. The Dow Industrial is up over 29.5 points to 7,037.83. Transportation's down today nearly 5 points. Utilities off as well. The volume quite heavy, just over 531 million shares traded.
How do you make a great buy better? Start with 88 by Oldsmobile. Well equipped at $23,100, 88 is ranked best premium midsize car and initial quality, ahead of cars like Camry and Maxima in a J.D. Power and Associates consumer study. To celebrate, let's make it better. For a limited time, get an additional $1,000 cash savings on 88 by Oldsmobile. A great buy made better. See your Florida Oldsmobile retailer today.
So guys, who does the cooking on this boat?
No cooking.
No cooking? If you got back into port, say late, you guys ever think about having breakfast for lunch?
Oh, absolutely.
Breakfast for dinner?
Absolutely. That's my style.
If you had an omelet that had steak in it,
In the omelet.
In the omelet. Steak omelet. How does that sound?
That's definitely an original idea. Yeah, I'd try that.
You know, IHOP serves breakfast all day long. Sounds good to me.
That's good.
It's making me hungry.
Yeah.
What do you say we head over to IHOP for some breakfast?
All right. You mind?
Retreat? Oh, nice.
All right.
Remarkably enough, the same engine that's used at the Indy 500 powers the all-new Infiniti Q45 luxury performance sedan. And if the new Q45's engine can compete on the track, imagine what it can do for your commute.
Lease the 97 Q45 for just $649 a month for 36 months. Initial payment of $1749 includes security deposit.
Why shop the Gardens for fashion?
Because from head to toe, the Gardens has us covered with a collection of over 30 extraordinary stores just for us. Style you won't find anywhere else.
Join us for the power of style.
Why am I always talking about the Gardens?
Because it's got the best collection of fashion, the most kids stores, the most home furnishing shops, and it's the only place with these 5 gems under one beautiful roof.
Talk about a model mall.
Some bad news valets are stealing from your car, and worse, we've got actual videotape. It's extra undercover, only on the next Extra.
Tuesday at 7.
On News Channel 5.
Tonight's sports is brought to you by your local Jeep and Eagle dealers.
Quite a few good names, good ball players on the Marlins roster this year, and it may be like old home week for a couple of these guys, right?
You're not kidding. It's exciting to keep covering the Marlins, and Bobby Bonilla has found a new home with those Florida Marlins and reunited with his former manager, Jim Leland. And as Anthony Pittman joins us from Melbourne live, those aren't the only changes for Bonilla, right?
Yeah, there's a lot going on with our Florida Marlins these days. Of course, we're talking about a ball club with a pitching staff that believes at this point it can contend with the Atlanta Braves. But defensively, we need to talk about the man who's going to play third base this season. Bobby Bonilla had 28 homers along with 116 RBI last season for Baltimore. But that point of concern is Bobo defensively, where some say he is just an average third baseman. He knows he can't be a Brooks Robinson at third base, and he doesn't care. Bobby Bonilla will be his own man, and as he sees it, that's a pretty good third baseman.
I think the media is making a lot more of it than it really is, basically. I've played the position before. That isn't a problem.
He got a soft hand. I don't think his hands are hard or anything like that. He's a good fielder, and I think he's going to do the job there. He just needs a little time to get used to be there every day.
The National League has generally meant time at third base for Bonilla. But this will mark the first time since his days in Pittsburgh Bonilla starts the year as his team's answer to the hot corner. According to Bonilla, his time now as an everyday position player will make him a better hitter, no longer playing the role as DH, antsy to get back on the diamond to be active.
When you're in the game constantly, it helps out a great deal. Again, that's the only thing I know how to do.
But I do know that there's a lot of guys that are hyper that really have a tough time walking around the clubhouse, walking around the bench, sitting around, waiting to get their next at bat. And I definitely believe that Bobby feels and believes that he's better if he's playing both sides of the ball.
Say what you may about Bobby Bonilla, what we do know about this man is that he is definitely, Sandra, a gamer. We'll have more again from Marlins camp at 6 o'clock.
Look forward to seeing you then, Anthony. Thank you.
They're busy up there in Melbourne.
Yeah, fun out
right.
there.
Thanks very much.
They may be very convincing, telling you your home is in need of expensive repairs.
Authorities are now cracking down on unlicensed contractors they say are targeting the elderly. Shannon Kay goes door to door with inspectors in a moment.
And later at 6, we'll show you how some college spring breakers are choosing a very worthwhile way to have some fun in the sun. That's tonight, only at 6.
Tonight, lawyers. Many are fighting big companies, forcing change, protecting people's civil rights. But are they fighting for you or just cashing in? Is this justice served? Don't miss NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw tonight.
For every expedition to Mount McKinley, we safely carry about 2 million loads of groceries. For each foray across Death Valley, we drive thousands of kids to their soccer games. And for every traveler who ventures into the Arctic, we take countless families out for a chocolate vanilla twist. Jeep Grand Cherokee, with a lease price that makes it the perfect vehicle for whatever destination lies ahead. See your local Jeep and Eagle dealer.
Hallelujah, come on, get happy.
She's a Hollywood legend with more than 30 films to her credit. She's starred on Broadway and is a headliner in Vegas. She's Debbie Reynolds, and she's coming to the Kravis Center for an evening of song and dance. From yesterday's favorite Singin' in the Rain to today's hit film Mother, Debbie Reynolds is still America's sweetheart. Don't miss Debbie Reynolds in one show-stopping performance Saturday, March 1st. Call the Kravis Center today.
Wednesday, all day, Macy's one-day sale. Find store-wide savings with our final winter clearance. Women's fashion an extra 40 to 50% off already reduced prices. Every coat 30 to 50% plus an extra 20% off. Men's sportswear, outerwear an extra 50% off reduced prices. Down comforter any size $64.99. Plus all jewelry 20 to 50% off plus bonus dollars off selected. Macy's one-day sale Wednesday. Shop early, shop late.
Who's to blame for the dangerous crossings? An I-Team exclusive tonight at 6 on News Channel 5.
Ford doesn't have it. Toyota doesn't have it. If you want a compact truck with 3 doors, you'll only find it here. Introducing the 1997 Special Edition S10 LS3. Air, AM/FM cassette, fold-down rear seat.
Equipped right, priced right. Get $1,000 cash back on any S10 in stock. Built like a rock. Exclusively at Fronrath, Steve Moore, Roger Dean, or Ed Morse.
S10 LS3.
If you hire someone to do handiwork around your home, be on guard.
Should be, because Palm Beach County and the city of Lake Worth are cracking down on a rash of unlicensed contractors ripping off senior citizens. News Channel 5 Shannon Cake teamed up with inspectors for an in-depth look at the problem, and what she found may surprise you.
Door-to-door contractors are sweeping neighborhoods, offering repairs to unknowing residents. Planning, zoning, and building officials have been flooded with complaints.
And so they came in the house, and I'll show you. He said, your ceiling's falling in.
Besides a little peeling paint, county and Lake Worth city inspectors say this woman's ceiling is fine. Even so, she agreed to pay an unlicensed contractor $1,000 for roof repairs.
The work that appears to have been done really didn't need to be done.
The contractors wait for a rainy day. They knock on the front door of elderly people's homes, walk them outside around the house, and show them spots on the roof. Then they convince them to make repairs that oftentimes aren't even needed. It also happened to Lily Ford. She paid workmen $2,000 for 1 hour of roof work. After the contractors left, she got nervous, canceled the check she wrote them, and called city and county inspectors. Again, there was little evidence the work promised had been done. Ford took us inside and played a 15-minute taped phone conversation. The contractor harasses Ford, trying to get her to write another check. Listen now as Ford starts to give in. The contractor continues. Now, code enforcement for Lake Worth and the county say most of the people being targeted are senior citizens. Here are a few tips if you're planning to hire a contractor of any kind. Ask for the contractor's state and local license. Also, they should have a permit